All right. So cool thing is, life happens and we have to pivot. Would you guys agree in our business? Sometimes we have to pivot. Sometimes shit happens. Sometimes just like this call, I'm relying on Eventbrite to make sure that everything goes out okay, exactly how I set it up, and they completely changed everything to where it didn't work. But the reason it worked is because I have my own Zoom link. I've paid for my own higher end subscription, but also I collected data. So you had to register to get me your email, right? I was able to shoot you an email really fast saying, hey, new link. I also was able to put it in my coaching group. And that's just something that I've acquired over the years is I don't panic. I was like, the worst thing that happens is that it cancels and I have to do it again. So not a big deal, right? But sometimes we just get like in our own head and kind of screw things up. So in anything, you have to learn to pivot your business and understand that. But that also comes down when, for you guys that are in my coaching that have downloaded your form, the first thing that I talk about is you have to track your numbers, right? So me knowing my numbers, knowing how many people had RSVP'd to the event, gathering their email information so I could shoot them a quick email to let them know, hey, we had a pivot on the Zoom. Here's the new link to get you in here. It's obviously recorded for everybody else, but guys, understanding how to do 100 transactions, it was crazy because I said this before. I said, back in the day, I could make you an extra $3,000, then $5,000, then 10 grand, then 20 grand, then 30 grand a month. But what I've gathered, and the reason that on my list is track your numbers is number one. I guarantee I can go to most any of you on this call and you'll never be able to answer the numbers correctly because you don't track your shit. You can say you track your shit, but you don't really track your shit. You can know what you made. You can know how many homes you've closed. You may even know the average sales price or the average commission. But what I mean by track your numbers, guys, it's the effort you put in to obtain the deal. Does that make sense to you guys? So the disconnect with you guys, and that I've found, is that real estate's a really interesting community. Is we all pet each other like a petting zoo that we're so amazing. Like I see these realtors on panels that really don't do the volume that they say, that post shit on social media about how amazing they got these deals, and I pull their numbers and they've closed 8 deals in a year. But then are also telling people how to make money, but they don't even know their own money. Right? Does that make sense to you guys? If you guys kind of felt this over, I would say, we had a really good 2 years, but I would say we felt it a little bit more over these past 6 months, that all these people that gave you a marketing plan and a business plan and, oh, go do this, when it was the best 2 years in real estate it's ever been, made you fail the last 6 months, correct? Because the budget you're putting in, your deals aren't closing the way there is. Everybody wants to talk about rates and inventory that don't decide anything at your client base. But that also comes back to that if I was asking you and I'd say, all right, if you really knew your numbers, how much money have you put back into your business in the last year? What's your average monetary investment that you put back into your business, which is you, in the last year? And what is it? What does that money go towards? So you should have a list that you're allocated going, oh, for $797 it's this, $1,500 a month it's this. I spend this much per client, which is very interesting to me because the last events I did before we probably went to Zoom before summer vacation, I would ask agents, how much do you spend on a closing gift? And the average amount was $150. And I told them that's why none of you make more than $1 million in a room. Because if somebody just made you 12 grand, 15 grand, 20 grand, and you're giving them a $150 closing gift, just know your referrals aren't going to flow. Because you have to create a lasting impression. So when I talk about tracking your numbers, I use Excel spreadsheets. I've always used Excel spreadsheets because I can add my own columns. I can sort it really fast, just like how I did on this call, where I was able to go to my Excel spreadsheet, download it. I was able to copy, paste, send an email real quick, send out a Zoom link, kept it short and simple, and went to the point. Would you agree that that happened? Because you all were a part of it, right? And within a couple minutes span, when it didn't work, you all got the information within 2 minutes. Would you agree? That is because I know my numbers and I know my systems, and I do the same repetitive thing every time. I had Zoom when I first started doing these way more back during when everything was kind of shut down, right? one of my very first Zooms, I was telling people that my internet shut off because everybody was home, was on the internet, but I never gathered anybody's data. So I didn't know how to get out to everybody because we all make mistakes, right? We all make mistakes in gathering the data, how we portray the data, but how we actually use the data. So the data that I've gathered over the last few weeks to get this seminar going, within a second, I was able to go, here's your information, here's your new link, here's where it is. Everybody that registered, you're good to go, right? Now, when I go to scale my business, when I first started, guys, I was just like any of you. I was broke. And where we talk about your budget per month and budget per year, what do you guys allocate per month for your budget to grow your business? Write that down. These questions that I'm asking you right now are why you're not making $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 a year. That is these first two of tracking your stuff and knowing your budget of where you're allocating your funds to grow your business were the biggest two game changers for me specifically. Just like any company, you know, a company's not going to go invest $100 million into a product that they haven't collected data on and know that it actually works. Would you agree? Okay. So then we're on that. So if you know your budget per month, per year, this is just to run your business. This does not include your client appreciation events that you got to scale out. This does not include gifts that you have for closings, because that could fluctuate a little bit throughout the month. This is just like cell phone, internet, you know, office, you know, what do you pay for coaching? What do you pay for things to do better for you that are going to better you? Because then that business flows. So you have different columns and different buckets. And that's why I say when you use your Excel spreadsheet, you're able to allocate it and sort it and sum it better to know that, like, oh my gosh, I had 5 closings this month, but here's the activities that I did. Right. And I think that's where you guys get lost, because real estate, would you agree, goes up and down and up and down, like, right, guys? Would you agree? Good month, bad month, good month, bad month, good month, bad month. Okay. In the last 4 years and 1 month, no, 4 years, 1.5 months, I have not dropped below $40,000 net revenue in over 49.5 months. So when I talk about these first two items, okay, and you're tracking your stuff and you're tracking your budget, next to those guys on this list, because you're going to see my little list here that I've got for you guys that are in my group, write down, and I went over this in another goal setting, how much money do you want to make a month? Okay. And so mine was, and people can know me for forever. Kyle Smith, that now is in Montana, gave me one of my first speaking engagements when I opened my coaching. And I told him, I said, bro, I'm going to net 40 grand a month here within the next certain time. And he thought I was fucking crazy. But the difference is I knew my numbers. See, not knowing your numbers is why you can't scale. And that's why you guys go sit in these groups and go to all these events and think that, like, posting and doing all these videos or whatever you guys call reels and oh my gosh, this is what people want to know, and then your business isn't scaling, is because you're not really collecting the data on people. Like, if you're getting 6, 7, 8 likes per post or 15 likes per post and 8 of them are realtors, just know no one's seeing your shit. And that's why your business does not grow. Okay. You have to understand that as we're going through this on how to do 100 deals, you have to understand too, when you know your budget, you know your stuff, where do you make your money? See, I make my money through real estate industry professionals, right? I have where I get paid for speaking engagements. I get paid for consultations. I have one-on-one clients, and then I have a subscription client that goes out there, right? So I have 4 different streams of income that just come into this one income that I have. Where you guys don't understand, you have buyers, you have sellers, you have renters, you have investors, but you don't create a business plan or a structure of systems because you actually have no data. And I see a lot of realtors out there going, oh, join my team, I'm going to teach you. Join my team, I'm going to teach you. To what? Cold call and just put shit in a CRM? I literally watched this guy that's a coach this morning, who I do like, but he talked about his first, he goes, when I get a Facebook lead, they automatically go into my system, and then they get dripped this fucking campaign of an email. Guys, if you give somebody an information, and how they communicate immediately is not a text from their phone and 5 emails about bullshit, are you going to want to work with that person? But that's how all you guys do your business. You're not a relationship driven business. Otherwise you guys be closing 100 deals a year like my clients do. The reason I can tell you how to do 100 deals is because my clients last year, husband and wife, closed 111 transactions. They're on pace to do 135 this year. You know what they do? Everything I say, and don't argue. And they do it every single day religiously. They know their numbers, they know their time, they know their data, they know when their business is going up, they know how to fix it to where if they get like 7-8 deals in escrow and that's the least they have, they're in panic mode, because now we run at about 13 to 14 deals in escrow at all times. Not one bot lead, not one cold call, not one door knocking, not running ads, not boosting shit. They don't do fucking TikTok. Okay, they don't look like a retard doing reels. Like, I'm sorry, this is the truth of the matter of how it is. You're an industry professional. Right next to these top, when you say you track your numbers, be like, I'm an industry professional, and I am not only that, I'm a business owner. And I can tell you that when I transitioned from where I was in the title to where I was now, I feel and I can tell you, I understand where you're coming from, because you're like, well, this is the information. Okay. Once I got out of what I called the rat race, you guys just feel like you're just running in a circle and you're just kind of chasing this track and you don't know how to get off the track. Okay. That's number one, the people that you're around, people who you're taking advice from, and the activities that you're doing to train your brain. Okay. So one of the biggest things that I had that was the game changer for me is I filmed my content, and I told people this at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, because I'm not going to be bothered. But the game changer is that I can't tell you how many people I've coached or how many people I've heard that you guys use this word of going, I'm busy. How many guys use that throughout the week? Okay. That's why your business doesn't scale. Because instead of writing down I'm busy, you write down what's keeping you busy and how do I build systems to flow this better. Just so you guys know, on how I do my business and how I do my company, I have 0 employees. Okay. I never say I'm busy. The last 2 days I played golf all day long. I'm leaving after this to go with my mom that's retiring at the age of 63. Today's her last day of work. We're going to go to the casino. We're going to go hang out and have a good time with her and celebrate her. When you guys think that you're busy, this is understanding your numbers. This was the game changer for me to not only make more money, but understand my time. Instead of working 40 to 50 hours a week, which a lot of you say you do, which you don't. You do repetitive items that if you created systems and created flow sheets. I have one of my clients, Troy, that's a one-on-one. And he nonstop was about, I need an assistant. I need an assistant. I need an assistant. How many of you guys have been taught that by coaches and mentors? If you get to a place, just hire an assistant. Just hire that out. Just outsource that. How many of you guys have heard that a million times in your career? Okay, well, now your business is being saturated by someone that's not you. So instead, slow down and say, how can I build better systems that include me a part of it, to where it flows, to where I can still scale my business, to where I can be everywhere at once, but don't have to be there. And that's where the content and the tracking flow together. And that's where if you go to my website, you go to anywhere to look me up, there's videos, there's anything you can watch that you want to see, client interviews, whatever you want to see, what you get, clear expectations. But what you have is you have my client success stories, not me. If my clients aren't successful, guys, I'm not successful. And if you want my opinion, stop posting how much volume you did in whatever month it was. No one gives a shit what ranking you were in your office that you guys still post. No one cares how much volume you have. They just want to know you're living a good life and having fun. And knowing your numbers is there. Now, this was my Achilles heel. Gosh, coming as a sales rep, coming as seeing you guys, and I understood this, is that I never understood the word no. How many of you guys have a hard time saying no to people because you think it's an opportunity that you're probably going to miss that you're not? Okay, I'm telling you, the best line I ever heard is I was in Bradley's office one time. Some guy called him and he put me on speakerphone. And Brad's like, bro, you got to listen to this. And the guy goes, oh man, you missed the best party last night. And oh my gosh, it was so much fun, dude. You missed out on that. And Brad goes, what do you mean missed out? He goes, I didn't miss out on shit. And the guy goes, yeah, man, this guy was there. He goes, I wasn't there. So the party wasn't even fun. Think about how I just said that. You guys always feel like you have to like be everywhere at once. Okay, the one thing I stopped doing, I stopped going to real estate networking events. Even though people say, oh, John, that's where you make your money. No, that's where everybody's trying to get a free handout and free drinks and free food. And no one in that room is worth 100, 200, 300 million that I can call. I already got friends that make that money. Why would I go sit in a room and hang out with people that are going to complain about the market, talk about how they closed their 20 deals this year versus 100, go get their award because they closed, 30 deals in a year, not 100. They're still working nonstop in their business. They don't know how to scale their business. They don't even have YouTube website systems built out. They automate their stuff. They cold call, they buy leads, they door knock. And everything that tells me is they don't build relationships. And what that taught me when I first got in this, when I was tracking my numbers and where I learned on the calendar to know my calendar 2 weeks out, at least minimum, it taught me to say no. But what I found is that when I was saying yes to all the other things, I was a transactional based person versus a relationship building activity person. Does that make sense to you guys? That really pivoted my mindset to be able to be like, because people will say, John, how did you get to the point? I get this question asked all the time, to where you honestly don't give a fuck. And I said, because dude, as long as my 3 kids are happy and they're well behaved and they're good, I'm happy. As long as my clients are doing well and living their best life, I'm happy. As long as I'm teaching them you can win through anything, I'm happy. As long as you can show them, just like today's model, where I had to literally send you another link and didn't panic, I'm happy. I didn't get out of sorts and was like, oh my gosh, life's over, right? Because I knew my numbers, I knew my systems, I knew exactly what I'm going to do because I plan it. So you guys will have something go wrong and you don't really know your numbers, so you don't know how to pivot right away. Does that make sense to you guys? On a little aspect of that, that's because that bottom one on track your numbers, you say yes to too many things that don't benefit you and no to the options that you need to not go to these events. You don't have to be there. Okay, I don't even go to people's birthday parties anymore. Like if my get invited to some kid's birthday party, I don't go. It's not that I don't like them. I just got better shit to do. So you have to prioritize how you want to live your life. So when you write out your plan and you write out your numbers, guys, and I talk about this a lot, if you aren't writing out your personal goals weekly and daily, what you're trying to accomplish, there. Did you notice when I talked about my week, I never talked about what I did for my business. I talked about how I played golf and I'm going with my mom. Would you agree? Business was good this week, guys, because why? I'm still here. Business was good 4 years ago. I'm still here. Business is still growing the way I want it to grow. Why? Because I'm doing it my way. So as you do this business and as you track, it's not, I really found out it's actually not hard to do 100 transactions in a year. What the hard thing is being consistent in the tasks that it takes to get there. Just know, guys, every one of the deals you close, if on my subscription, I have to close 100 deals to equal year one or 10 one-on-ones. Just know that I have to do 10 times the amount of work that you do to close your one deal to get that commission check. Does that make sense to you guys? But I run my whole company by myself and I work 40 hours a month. So how do I do it? All these lists that I have down in my group, guys, for you guys that are in my coaching group, download these and read them and it'll make sense to you. Try to interpret them like I'm talking to you and you're going to be like, well, that kind of makes sense. Now, for my social media, guys, I just did the Facebook thing because I wasn't going to go in depth on all the other stuff. I wanted to keep it this plain Jane. Here's where I think people really struggle, because I get people where they'll be like new agents, they're seasoned agents, they're agents that are trying to pivot where they've never really done social media, right? They don't really understand it. They may not understand video. They may not understand tracking. I don't know. They talk about how they need leads. I say it's not leads, it's relationships. And I said, let me teach you how you never have to buy a deal again in your entire life, right? And I'll go in front of people and I say, look, this is how I knew that at minimum I can make $25,000 a month within 45 days of me opening my company. And they said, how? I knew that I had 2,500 realtors on my Facebook page. So I just went off one social media, okay? And I knew if I got 1 out of every 10 to sign up at the price that I had, that would be $25,000 a month. Does that make sense to you guys? So factor your amount of sales, whatever you've got, and slow it down a little bit. And then I'll go in front of people And I always love when I get the realtors in the room that will get like 300 or 400 likes on a post. And I'm like, damn, you must be closing like 60, 70 deals a year. And they're like, no. And I look it up and I'm like, they're closing 8. And I said, well, I'm just confused. How do you get that much engagement, but don't close any deals? And then I go look at their content and I'm like, oh, okay, put some fucking clothes on, number one. Number two, like, no one cares about that stuff of your drama. A lot of people post drama, dude. A lot of people post drama and get a lot of engagement, but that's just telling you your circle's a lot of drama. Okay. And I said, do you track it on how many people like and engage with your stuff? No. So here's what I tell them to do. I say, you create what's called a target list. Okay. I tell people to have a target list, 150, 200 people on Facebook alone, have it there, make sure that it's there so you're adding it. This is how I knew that you guys way back in the day, when I first moved to Arizona that are on this call, you guys knew I always liked your posts. I always engage with your stuff. You're on my target list. I wanted to make sure that you didn't know me, but I was going to let you know who I was on social media, because if I liked your stuff, commented on your stuff, you would look at my stuff. If I was consistently posting every day and had content flowing every day, right? Then I was running basically an ad agency for free that only took a post. Now there's stories that are engaging, but what I remembered is what I would do is I'd say the people that were engaging back, I would write them down on a list, and then the new friends that I had. Here's what's crazy to me, guys. Here's what's crazy. Facebook literally will tell you who your new friends are, and I'll say, how many of those people did you put on a list? And they're like, well, none. I'm like, why would you add somebody on your social media but not put them to your target list to put them on a campaign, where they call a drip campaign, to make sure you're liking their stuff, you're engaging on their stuff, you're seeing their stories, and you're engaging with the stories? A consumer, okay? If you're a realtor and you're watching and liking other realtor stuff, just know you just killed your algorithms, okay? If you're a lender, title, whatever it is, and you have both sides, just know you got to learn how to create a target list for both. But that's how I learned to build it. So I tracked it and I said, this is how I know that I'm going to get my people, because I'm going to make sure I stay in front of my people for free. So back when I started my company, I said, you know, how can I reach the masses for free? Okay. Then you got YouTube and you got all the other platforms. So you kind of go viral as you push out. But then I made sure, I'm like, okay, if it takes the average consumer 6.7 months to determine to buy or sell, I have to be consistent in front of my client, because sometimes it's taken some realtors years to decide if they want my coaching, because they're honestly sick of other people kicking their ass up one side and down another with numbers. And I make it easy for you. I make it to where you can scale and you can build it. So if you forget about this, go back to your friends list on social media. It goes recently added. And then the other thing, guys, with social media, why aren't you guys doing the proactive birthday thing? So many of you are in my coaching. How many of you guys heard me talk nonstop about being proactive on birthday wishes in my coaching? Okay. Do you know there were only a handful of you that wished me happy birthday on my social 3 to 4 days prior? So you know what that's telling me? And I see some of you looking at me because you're like, shit. That was the test, because it was my birthday on Sunday. And some of you people, I mean, I got a shit ton of birthday wishes, and thank you all that wished me a happy birthday. But in my coaching, I would have loved to seen hundreds of them prior, 3 days, 4 days prior to my birthday, because I would have remembered them. I know Justin sent me a video. Okay. I know Dan sent me a video. Where are the rest of y'all at? See how that works? I remembered them. One thing I was taught by my mentor, if they talk about you, good or bad, they're talking about you. It's how you are remembered is where your business is at today. Now, I say that, guys, I say that for this reason. I know there's some people here, but I can't see you on the front page because, guys, you're on page 2. So I got you. I know Dolly and her husband sent me liquor because her husband's got a man crush on me. That's why I got that. But that's on another note. But guys, track your social. Understand that if you don't have any deals, see the people on your list. Go back, reset your algorithms. Go back and get the people to engage with you. That's free money. Those are all if you have 300 consumers on your page that are not realtors, that's 300 warm leads every day you're doing nothing with. And of the statistic, 1 out of every 10 would use you or refer you if you stayed consistently in front of them, letting them know what you do, but also who you are, what it's like working with you and how I get to work with you, but also your hobbies, your habits, your interests, and your activities. That's why people choose to work with you. So guys, if you guys haven't closed a shit ton of business so far this year, it's a lot of it's your content. I'm telling you that right now. And it's not only content, it's the consistency and all the other stuff you're trying to scale. Like, how many of you guys have closed 40 deals so far this year? 30 deals, 20 deals. Why? It's not hard. What's hard is doing the work to obtain the goal. I can tell you, there are many days I wanted to pick this monitor up and just throw it out in the street and call it a day. Okay. That's why they invented tequila. Okay. That's why I have a minibar fridge in my office now too, right? We all go through stressful moments, but what I found, and this comes back to circle back, is going, what I found, the reason I was stressed, the reason I felt overwhelmed, and the reason I had anxiety, can anybody guess why I felt that way? And sometimes I just wanted to throw in the towel and I was like, that's it.
Tired of repeating yourself?
No, I didn't track my shit. And the moment I started tracking my stuff, it made it easy. Because it's a formula to anything, right? Like if you go to the gym every day, you do your cardio, you have your workout plan, you know how many fats, proteins, carbohydrates, cardio, water, whatever it is, you know at some point you're going to look good, right? You know that if you put gasoline in your car, you can only drive your car for so long before it runs out of gas. Would you agree? Okay. So when you put gas into your car, right, it will tell you how many gallons went into it, right? How much the gas costs to put it in there. Would you agree? Okay. And then you go to it and immediately once you fill your tank, it tells you how many miles you have till empty, correct? And if you go to the sum, you can say your average gas mile that it's gathered over the while is this. Would you agree? So your car does what for you nonstop when you're driving it so you don't have to do it? It gathers what? Data that you guys don't do in your business. You can't scale unless you know what you're doing. So think about the next time you get in your car and you didn't track when you woke up and went to bed, or how many handwritten cards you did, or how many new Facebooks, or how many text conversations, how many proactive birthdays you didn't do, or how many videos you don't have on your YouTube that makes systems, or how many flow sheets you have for your clients. Just know, I want to live rent free in your head right now, that every time you fill that car with gasoline, I want you to think of John's story. You can either flip me off or give me an applause that you're changing your business. But just know that car is collecting all the data that you should already have in your business. You should already know that what time you woke up over the last 90 days and what time you went to bed, to how many hours of an opportunity you're giving you so you don't say you're busy. You should have tracked all your activities over the last 90 days, who you're giving your time to, how many events you've been there, how long it's been there. Why? Because you're running a business. You guys wake up, go out there, I'm going to go to the gym, or I'm going to go hang out with these people, or I'm going to get on another fucking Zoom call. It doesn't change your business. Okay, so we're 6 months basically into the year. So on average, you guys should have at least sent on a minimum 180 cards. Not home anniversary, not happy anniversary, not birthday anniversary, 180 cards to people. How many of you guys have done that? How are you supposed to scale your business? Do you know how many I got in the mail just today? We're making it hard on ourselves, guys. So just follow and flow through this. It's not hard. We're making it hard. Because I ask you guys about these activities that I preach on doing, and you look at me and you're like, but I'm broke. I don't have any money. And I'm like, you don't have any money because you're doing stupid shit. See, so my ultimate goal was I wanted to be an adult degenerate and have fun and still scale a business, but I had to put in the work to get there first, okay? You guys are just smoothing along, just hoping that that next deal comes in, right? So that you can close and get some money and then it's there. That's not how it works, man. You got to be in your business day in and day out, right? So that comes back to the thing that realtors are really, 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 really bad at that I've found over the last while. And that's called follow-up. Okay. Here's the reason why I say follow-up is a lost art in our industry. Because you guys, when you build out your follow-up systems, you're reactive in your business, you're not proactive in your business. Does that make sense to you guys? Does that kind of make sense? To where you wait till the next move and then, okay, but here's what it goes. You go, oh, this client asked this question and you're like, oh man, that'd be a great video to do or a great system to build out. Oh, John says video, and blah, 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 whatever it is, right? And then you get the question again, and you're like, oh gosh, I think it's probably about time I do that video. And then you finally do it. And then you don't have flow sheet and a system to it. So what's happening? Now you're being reactive versus building a relationship or a rapport to where they can be your marketing rep for you. So when I go to follow up, I mean, this is send out cards, conversations, text messages, phone calls. I learned this way back in the day when I was a respiratory therapist, because every time I went to a client, I had to write down remarks, right? I can tell you, I can say, I remember one time I got back to the office and I just set this guy up on a CPAP machine. And he goes, calls in and they're like, and they send him over and the guy goes, yeah, he goes, the guy just came in here and this big guy and just dropped off the machine and left. I'm like, oh, so he didn't show you how to change the water, or he didn't fit you for the mask, and he didn't sit down and show you how to like set it and how the hose works and how to clean that out and how to do all these things and why your setting was a certain way, and went over your sleep apnea study and all that stuff. He's like, well, I mean, I'm like, sir, you realize I was the same person in your house you're trying to throw under the bus, right? How many of you guys could go back to your clients going, well, you explained it, you watched this video, you explained it, watched this video, you followed on this, you sent back the checklist, you flowed on this sheet, you checked all the boxes, we asked all the questions, we had a weekly review, you watched all the videos, you did all the things. You can't. That's how you scale. So when we come back to follow-up and we come back to tracking, okay, this was another one of my things that I severely struggled on. So just to know, guys, I've all been where you're at. I just decided to make a change in my life and decided I wanted more and I wanted to do more. And honestly, you know what it was? I wanted to buy my Lamborghini. That was my pivoting point, is I just wanted to buy my Lamborghini because I'd had a dream of it the whole time. And so finally I got it rolling and I finally got the Lambo, right? But what I really found is that the tracking was great. And we would track and I'd see it and I'm like, okay, I'm going to make improvements that way and I'm going to do that. But I said, John, at some point, you got to literally hold yourself accountable for some other things. So what I use for me, and there's apps that you can use, whatever you want to do, but I started putting everything on my calendar, everything. Like make your social media posts, make sure to re-up your social media posts, make sure to make your stories and your content, make sure you do your handwritten cards, make sure you create your next event, make sure you set your goals, make sure you hit your goals. It's like an adult babysitter. But what I found with a lot of people is they're like, well, I don't like doing that. I'm like, why? I'm like, because then you're held accountable, because you're going to get a reminder every day of the shit you're not doing, right? How many of you guys as adults, sometimes you hate being told all the things you're doing wrong? I don't. I enjoy it, because then at least I know I'm making progress. If you're nitpicking me, then yeah, then we're going to have a problem. But I love being told what I do wrong. I love playing when I play golf with guys that are way better than me, that give me tips. Hey, John, I would do this. Hey, okay, great. You know why I'm going to listen to them? Because I want their handicap. I see how they hit a ball. Right? It's the continuous of repetitiveness that you don't have to reinvent the wheel, just collect more data, right? And then I would make sure that I said, look, if I know like birthday reminders are important, like I talked about how one of my clients has already made an extra $80,000 this year by being proactive in the birthday thing. And I told you guys religiously, but none of you did it. Like there's several of you that are a lot of you are in my coaching, and only a handful of you gave me the days prior that I talked about. I literally said, this guy so far this year has made an extra $80,000 doing this system. And you guys shake your head like, oh yeah, okay, we're going to make money, we're going to do it, But at what point are you going to do it? Like, that's why I say the calendar either will make or break you. And is it emotional? Does it suck? Is it not there? Yes, absolutely, guys. This is how you flow your stuff, because when you follow up, you create better conversations when you're proactive by that birthday card out more, that anniversary, that, hey, that was a great photo that you just posted. That was, oh my gosh, how are you doing? Or, just checking in. These are great proactive conversations. Now, The next one on my column right here, guys, this is the game changer for you guys on this. Video. Video was where that helped me scale my business to where it is. Because every question I've ever had in my career, I created the video on it for 400 video training videos. Zoom like this, we're on a video conference. I'm able to see all you beautiful people within an hour and a half, and then I'm going to go on with my day, right? Then I'm going to download this. You're in my group. You get to watch it again along with the other 3-part series that are in the group there as well. But what it helped me do was the definition. I always thought it was funny is I'd go to these events with real estate and like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. That's why we have systems. That's why when a lead comes in, it gets all these stupid ass emails and blah, 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 and text campaigns and all these things that no one wants. And I would ask them, I'm like, so do you have a video that goes along with each one of these questions? No, we write it out and we explain it in detail. Do you know most people can't understand shit when they read it? Like if I handed you this thing without doing this seminar, are you going to figure it out? Nope. But this is how you realtors do your business. That's why there's confusion. That's why I would pay none of you 20 grand to sell my house. And then for me, as I got to all these things right here to when I scaled and I said, look, I'm going to start doing one-on-ones now, but I got to charge a lot of money. How do I validate that? Just like you guys say, how do I validate if somebody give me 12, 15, 20 grand? Well, you know, we're professional. We're going to put it on these websites and we're going to do this marketing campaign. I'm going to sit in this really good open house with these cookies that this title company is going to pay for with the water and everything's going to be great. That's it. That's what I'm paying you 20 grand for. And then I'm going to put a sign in the yard and with some broke ass flyers. That's what I'm paying you 20 grand for. Well, you know, it's our job to do the fiduciary duty. I can hire an attorney to do the same thing and it'll cost me less than 20 grand. This makes sense to you guys? Because when I had to go to my clients that pay me one-on-one, I build them out their own special plan of what they are, because they're all different series of their business, but they scale their business. These people that do over 100 deals, they started with me, they were doing 30. Isn't that crazy? And video, they will tell you, was the key to their success of freedom. And YouTube is the #1 search algorithm and it is owned by Google. That's why you do Google reviews. That's why YouTube's there. And it also gives you a link. So the one thing I loved about YouTube, obviously, is once you load in there, it gives you a link, right? Because you can't primarily send a 12 to 14, 15-minute video. Would you agree? Sometimes it gets stuck in the outbox, right? That's why the power of YouTube. But also what I thought was, well, if one person had the question, a lot of other people are going to have the same question. But that's why in my coaching, you get a virtual integrated training platform that's all categorized as it evolves, right? So when people say, well, John, what do you mean by that, right? So look, guys, I practice what I preach. Everything I tell you to do, I do, right? So I tell people, I say, well, you know, there's YouTube, which is great. I can put out content, but for my clients, I want to make sure it's organized. I want to make sure they can take notes. I want to make sure they have file tabs. I want to make sure it's structured, and I want to make sure that they can watch it on their computer. I want to make sure they can watch it on their desktop. And also that I can show that if you do the things that I'm telling you to do, you can't not make 100 million. Like you do my coaching, I guarantee you 18 deals a year if you do it my way. You can't not do it. You just have to do the work. That's the problem, right? So if somebody said, oh, it didn't work. Okay, well, show me every day that you tracked your stuff, that you did your stuff, you did your handwritten cards, you were proactive on your birthday list, you added people, you charted your business, you created a target list, you created a video training platform, you have flow sheets for every one of your clients, you have the do's and the don'ts, you have all the questions that have been written down in your career to build out systems. How many of you guys have that? Okay, I do. Like I have laundry lists just in the last 2 weeks of all the shit that I've written down with all my clients, of everything that I have right here. Okay, everything, front, back, front, back. And then I have blank sheets of white paper ready to go for the next questions. I'm always learning. My biggest trait that I didn't like when I was younger is I figured I had it out, right? Just like when we were kids, right? We got figured it out, and you're always like, my parents don't know shit. And then you get to a certain age, you're like, well, I think maybe they knew a few things. Right? That's about where that's at. So the other thing that was really important to me, and everybody can do this however you want to do it, is be a part of your community. I think this is a lost art in our real estate. You guys say you're a real estate community. The community you're in are these stupid forum private Facebook groups where you're bitching about shit that don't matter. Okay. You go to the real estate networking events. You think that realtor that you talked to that you had drinks with the other night is going to be like, okay, John, you take this listing. I'm going to sit this one out. They're going to get free to buy. So why would you go to an event where there's other, oh, John, because we mastermind together. I've heard it all, guys. I've heard it all. How many of you guys see me at these events that are posted up all the time here locally? Nope, sure don't. I'd rather be sitting in my backyard smoking a cigar knowing I'm not around a bunch of people that are saying the same shit over the last decade going, what are you doing for your business? How's your business today, Karen? Like, that's what happens at these events. Or, oh, here's my photo opportunity and snap. Oh, let me be a part of a magazine that I can pay to be on the front cover of. Thank you for the honor I won. You didn't win shit. Show me that you made $1 million this year. Then we'll have a conversation. This is what people don't tell you because I had this great thing. I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning the other night. And this was what I wrote down. It was crazy. I literally wrote down. It just hit me. And I wrote this down. And I said, and to me, I always talk to myself, said, John, you need to start paying attention to the people that always say they want you to win, because most of them likely want you to win on their terms. That's pretty powerful, isn't it? Literally in the morning, I wrote that down. John, start paying attention to people that always say they want you to win, because most likely it's on their terms versus yours. Literally got it written down. Because I see all these people that are like, oh, I want you to win, I want you to win. But when you don't do it their way, or you're not in their community of how it works all the time, or you're not constantly kissing their ass, then all of a sudden they go away, right? That's friendship, right? And I want you to win, and I'm giving you the recipe. I want you guys, I want you to live your best life. Like, today's a great day for me. I'm proud of my mom that's retiring, and she's 63 years old. But I retired when I was basically 40, and I'm living 23 more years of my life better than she's going to. That's how I look at it. I hang out with my kids. I'm present there. We have fun. We're able to do things. But that's where it was. So being a part of your community, guys, is not so much there, but be a part of a community that you want, your family, your friends, your travel. You can be part of the HOA, your church, schools, kids, sports, adult things. Make sure you're branding. Oh, it's my mom's. She's retiring, bro. It's not her birthday. That was a couple months ago. But yeah, she's retiring. And then the other thing that I say for the investment that goes back to the top is you guys need swag. Okay. You need branded items when you go places. A real estate frame that's got your name on it. Koozies that has your name on it. Pens that have your name on it. Notebooks that have your name on it. Shirts, guys. If you go to the gym and you're out, have your logo. Create a cool ass logo. Have your name, so when you're at the gym, people see you. Don't just go to the same gym. Like for me, if I, for where I lift, I typically go to 2 different locations, and every once in a while I'll throw in one where I don't like to go, but I show up there. But I just do it. But if I'm there, like I have my swag, like this is my hat. That's my saying in my hat. It's winners never quit. And then I have my shirt that says believe in yourself, right? And I have pens and I have notepads. But guys, it's super important to have that so you can give it out to your people as well. Not only you, to be like, hey, do you go to the gym? Hey, I got a great gym shirt for you. I got a great gym hat for you. So not only that, it's kind of like a closing gift, right? Where you give them a closing gift, like a really nice barbecue or some nice cornhole boards or something that's not going to be perishable. And every time they touch it, what do? They think of you. I know when Brooke wears my shirt or my hat that I gave her, every time she puts it on, she thinks of me. So guys, the activities that I talk about where you be a part of your community or swag is this is where I wasn't doing this great at the beginning of my career and this really made sense, was how do I live rent-free in everybody's head without not being there to be there at the same time? Does that make sense? Okay, so there's many principles of that. There's obviously the value that I bring, the videos, the content, the training. I'm direct to the point, but I'm also still a lot of fun. Once I get out these trainings, I'm just, a degenerate that has fun, right? Because that's just life. I'm not like the serious guy like this all the time. I like to have fun. But when I'm on because my value is to bring you, to call you out on your shit and make you better, versus you coming on the Zoom going, okay, guys, everybody's going to get a trophy when we're done here. And this is how it's going to work. That's not how we live life, right? So there's being everywhere at once by creating content, systems, and flow for your business, but also being everywhere at once where you're creating your marketing campaign to give out to clients, wear hats, shirts, things that they want. Now, for me, that comes back to you guys in my coaching, that All About You form that I talk so heavily about, that if you're gathering data on all your clients, guess what? You'll know what kind of swag to get. You'll know what kind of events to do. You'll know what kind of, things that you're wanting to do for your next business move, or where you're going to put your money. Like if you have a 4th of July event coming up, that a lot of people like this or they like that, or, however it's going to work. But having somebody leave with the value that you have, it's great. Now, think about this. When someone buys a home, they typically take notes. Would you guys agree? These are some great things that I would say to have if you're working with buyers, especially obviously the hats, shirts, whatever the pack, you give it right away. But I would love for them to have a notebook that's got my stuff branded to it, a couple pens that they'd have branded to it, and a tape measure. Because when they're buying a home, okay, do they not have to measure things to fit their furniture in? Like Justin, you as a lender, these are great things to give to your realtor partners and give there. Oh man, these ideas are always in my coaching. So I don't know who easysearch@gmail.com is, but because there's no name, but that's there. But these are things I've always said. Lasting impressions that they could do, because how many of you guys have to always measure stuff at your house? I mean, yesterday I was measuring my son and how tall he was, right? And he found a tape measure that he was given by a client. Or items, right? Like happy birthday. They had to go to the archives to find this one, right? And guess who that came from? Justin, that's right there. Send me that birthday card. So if you want to really know who I am versus this hard ass on the call, that's me. I will dress up in a shark outfit onesie with my kids and run around all day to play with them. That's me. 100%, that's who I am. So, but that's where you do it. Chapstick is great. Keychains, guys, like a home key tag at the end. Okay. Now here's where I think keychains are great. Okay. Find out how long they last, and when you give them, and track what item, but listen to me, it's great you have that, but track what swag items you're giving each client. Okay. This is why it's important, because shit wears out. Would you agree? So then if you have a collective of going, okay, koozies only last so long, notepads only last so long, keychains only last so long, right? Then you can be like, hey, I know probably your swag's probably running out. I'm going to ship you a box of your stuff, which I have a box somewhere in here that's all branded to me. It's got a whole John Story coaching around an entire box that I have. And if my wife's on this call, maybe she'll go grab me one and bring one out to me out of my garage, because I know she's listening to me. So I can hear her do that right there and get that going. But that's what it is. Okay. Now you're going to see that on this list, guys, that are in my group, right? Because they're going to see there's a lot of repetitive items that I have. This is my 100 goal list of where it is. Okay. And then we go from the swag, but then we go to goal setting. And you guys know I've already talked about goal setting. Would you agree? Okay. This is why it's so important, because I think without goals, and I think without things that we're trying to figure out, or what we're really trying to do. Okay. This is where we get lost. This is where we get lost of like, are we really going to build it out? Are we going to have it there? But I put personal before business. And I talk about this all the time. Let's see, 3.5 years ago, I sat here and can you put it together for me? I sat here and I was writing down my goals. So if you guys know me, the reason I write my stuff down on blank sheets of white paper is because I feel like in our society, we're always told what we need to do, when we got to wake up, all the things we have to do, right? Like, oh, I got to be here, I got to be there. So when I write down on white sheets of blank paper, it allows me to where I'm not confined into a box. It just helps my mind be free at that moment versus going, oh, I only have this amount of area that I can write this in, right? And this amount of space. Now I'm going to write this, and I got a few other ones if I want to do it. If I want to draw a stick figure man, I'm going to draw a stick figure man, right? But what I found out is when I wrote down my goals, I wasn't doing anything for myself. I wasn't playing golf like I was. I wasn't traveling like I was. I wasn't doing the cool stuff that I like it was. Now, guys, when I talk about the swag, I get a lot of questions that say, where do you get your swag? Where do you get the thing? I know this may be weird, but there's this great website. It's called Google. Okay. And there's also a website that's called Let Me Google That Shit For You. Okay. So don't get my DMs asking where I got my shit from. Guess how I found it? Google. Weird. Okay. So I always like to put that one out there right away. All right, cool. So we got that, but goal setting is great. Now, I was a procrastinator on doing this activity. And this changed my life, because the stereotypes are work, do business scale, work, business scale, be in your business, how many times you got to be told, you got to be like me, be in your business every day? No, you have critical tasks that you have to do every day. But if you build out content and systems, you will be everywhere at once, 24/7, 365 days a year. See the difference? That's what I'm coaching you on. Not like these other dipshits that are out there nonstop, like, you got to get it and you got to go hard every day, guys, so we can win. No, I want to live your best life and go out and have, happy hour in the afternoon with your friends, or go play golf, whatever you got to do. So when I tracked this, I realized that the goals that I was setting for me were just financially to have some shit, whatever it was. But then I thought, okay, if I really want to scale this out and I really want to be a better coach to separate myself, how can I teach these people to run a big company like I do, be all of my people, work less hours, make more money, and scale it? And what I found is when I was doing my personal goals, I was including trips for my family, things like that. And those aren't personal goals, those are family goals. So there are really three keys and elements of when you set your goals. There's business, family, and personal. Personal is you. Okay. And you got to make sure that when you're tracking these, that you flow with them and that you're hitting them. Like if your job was to go to the gym 4 times this week and you didn't do it, find out why you didn't do it. And then you go back to the calendar of going, how many people did I say yes to that I should have said no to? How many activities did I attend that I shouldn't have been there? How many things did I not track? Like, did I do it because I procrastinated? Did I do it because I didn't wake up on time? Did I do it because I woke up on time and then found out that like my phone starts in chaos from the moment I wake up, so I can never take a deep breath to go back and do the handwritten cards or the prior birthdays or film content, right? Is this all making sense, guys, in the flow of how I'm flowing through the sheet? Okay, great. So that's what are super important. And then on the bottom part, this is the game changer, guys. You need a business, personal, and family plan for 30 to 60. For business, I just put the business one on here, but you need a 30, 60, 90-day marketing plan. This can be open houses, farming areas, videos, budget, lead follow-up, swag, chart your business coming up, set up content, your private groups that you're doing stuff with. These are just suggestions on here, guys, that you have there. But that when you start building out your 30, 60, 90-day marketing plan and having it ready to go, okay, this flows everything else. So now because once you have this plan and you're committed, because guys, when I kept saying yes to all these people is when I started like not being happy, because then I realized I still had to do the task, right? So there are things in life we're just gonna have to say no to right away. But as you build it, you're going, all right, I need to build out all this content. I need to build all those things to get freedom. Now, here's the other cool thing. When I talk about the swag, like leaving a lasting impression, this is one thing that has really changed on every item every item that I have put on here, that I put as a little dot for myself for you guys when you download this form. My brain always goes, how many more opportunities can I create from this one opportunity? So when I talked about delivering swag and getting it to your clients, you guys would get boxes, or you take it to UPS and they get you a box and you put your stuff in it, right? Correct? Would you agree that's how a lot of you guys deliver your stuff? Okay. But then I thought, okay, but if I brand a box to myself and my branding is correctly that I talk about, which most of you guys have it set up wrong, and they can Google John Story Coaching, they can Google John Story, they can see me on any social media platform, they can see all the YouTube content that I have, they can see all the Google reviews that I have. How many people are going to touch this box before it gets to the person that I'm going to live rent-free in? How many people that if you sold real estate, maybe there might be somebody that might grab this box today and be like, damn, I need a realtor. Damn, I need a lender. Damn, I need a title person, whatever it is. And you put it in the mail and you're consistently doing that, just sending out stuff to your clients all the time. That's why I talk about a budget. And they're going, John Story, John Story. And then how many times where you deliver it to the post officer, the post person is going to see it. Then it's in consistency, we're dropping things off that maybe one day they have a conversation, just like the gym, just like other activities that you do. Like my golf bag has this on the logo, number one, for tax purposes, but also, you know what my name says on my, Brad gave me this name and so did Gafford that. My golf bag says John MF Story, and then my logo says down there at the bottom. You know why? Because every time I walk into Brad's office, they'd be like, it's John, Story. And so that kind of just stuck, right? So I have that on there. And also, do you know how many people have asked me, what does MF stand for? I'm like, think about it. Or my buddies that get there and they're like, only you would put that on the bag. But listen to me. If I didn't put that on the bag, would I have had the conversation? No. Okay. Conversations create relationships and opportunities. Relationships and opportunities create what? Wealth. Remember that. So I'm not kidding you when I think about all the opportunities I can create by doing something. Just like I always have my golf balls branded. I needed to order some. I'm going to get them on the thing. And so I haven't had them. So I have a big Sharpie and I write this big thing. My buddy Trent's like, good God, what do you got all over that ball? And I'm like, well, thank you for asking. Because if there was nothing on the ball, he wouldn't know, right? So think about how many activities that I've given you guys in just this list alone, where you can create other opportunities and conversations from this. Would you agree? This is why my clients do 100 deals. Shit ain't rocket science. It's just, you have to track your numbers. Now, guys, if you're in my coaching, you've got this. I'm going to do the next Zoom's obviously not going to be open to the public if you're not in my coaching. So I recommend you sign up for that. But if you guys want to get my coaching, it's great. Go to my website. I'll put it in here in the thing. It's just $124.99 a month. Let's see. Just click that link, sign up, get ready to go. You get access to my training platform. You get all that. You get all the other stuff that I have. You get this form that you don't have. This is like my little dangling mic. See? Dangling the carrot, right? Because those that aren't my coaching, you can't get this shit. But think about that. Action items create anxiety, create opportunities, create the need for people that want to know that people don't need you. They want you. Does that make sense? Right? Like you don't need to go run a mile right now, but you might want to for the benefits of what it is. Like people think I'm crazy that I go sit in my cold plunge, but it's for the health benefits of what it is, right? But guys, I'm telling you, if you're in my coaching, go to the file, Facebook tab, download this thing. This will change your business 100%. Also download the SOI pipeline building checklist too, and put them hand in hand next to each other with the last couple of forms that I've had. And you're going to see the opportunities just like, and I want you guys to think when you go to the swag, think about this. John got a box because how many other people with the activities you're going to do are going to see the shit you're going to do, right? Does that make sense to you guys on the whole thing? So yeah, if you're not in my coaching, the other thing too, guys, I can send you the link to it. You can just shoot me a text with your name. And I'm telling you this, if you register today and you're a new client, I'm going to throw in something for you special. I promise you're going to want to register, but you have to register by noon because I got shit to do this afternoon. But what I throw in today, if you register for coaching, I promise it'll be worth the coaching. So I'm going to throw that in only specifically to the people that just registered today before noon. Okay. That's how that stuff works. Okay. But if you register at 12:01, you don't get the gift. And I promise this is the gift that's going to keep on giving. So any questions that you guys have, because I know I just covered a ton of stuff. That's why I did these series prior about time and branding and scaling and social farming. And then I'm finishing with this, and I got a couple other ones for the coaching, those that have been on my other calls, just so this makes sense to go. If you don't have a good brand, this doesn't work. If you don't have consistency, this doesn't work. If you don't have a plan, it doesn't work. Yeah, Justin, what's up, man?
So you got the YouTube, starting to get a good chunk of videos on there. But I noticed that the subscribers aren't happening. So outside of just sharing like the links on like Instagram stories and stuff like that, any other creative ideas on getting a little bit more traffic to the YouTube?
So YouTube specifically, the number one purpose of YouTube for our industry is to help train our clients. Would you agree?
Correct.
So don't focus on the amount of subscribers. Because if I was to focus primarily, I'd focus on the opportunities and the quality of friends that I have on social media prior. Because not everybody wants to subscribe to your YouTube channel just to see videos about buying a home, right? So when you have less, and it could be more, like I don't worry about that. People are like, you have 380 or 400 whatever subscribers. Okay. Like But at the end of the day, it's going, the sole purpose of that is to help train and educate buyers and sellers that would be working with you at some point. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you have to understand, that's where the social farming, the skills of the sales funnels, where I talk about it, going, Facebook's where you're going to create your relationships, Instagram's going to create your relationships, stories to create your, conversations of that, right? And the flow of where it is. The problem is, though, dude, is there's a lot of people out there that think they know social media and they're like, oh, you need all these things, you need whatever. That's not necessarily true, dude. Because if it was true, I'd be like, okay, if you got 2,000 subscribers to YouTube and never got a loan for it, what does the 2,000 subscribers do to you?
Yeah. It maybe the word was used wrong, maybe not subscribers, but just more activity on the actual
Dude,
videos.
I know the people that are watching it, they're just there, but I'd have them pay attention to who you are. That's just an educational channel, in my opinion. All people that watch views or whatever, you can push them out, whatever. But well, at the end of the day, man, it's just, you keep it simple, right? Like, here's a realtor trying to invite me to some stupid ass kickboxing thing. I don't want to go to this shit. And no, I didn't miss it. I said I didn't want to go. Like, who sends a follow-up thing like that? What's wrong with people? Right. So, but yeah, I mean, dude, I would not worry about that one bit. Worry about the handwritten cards that you needed. How many handwritten cards have you done in the last 30 days?
I think I'm at like 87.
Okay. How many people are in your pipeline that you have on your target list?
That was another question.
Anybody you've ever gathered information from, a birthday, and got their home address to send it there, a past client, a friend, of thing, or whatever it is, your private cliche, it could be 150, it could be 200 people. Every one of them needs a card every month.
Yeah. 289.
Okay, so check this out. You're 202 people. You need to send out 202 cards today. If I was coaching you right now, I would say you need 202. Like, individually coaching, if you were individually being coached by me, trust me, you would have already hit the 289 by this month's end. Because I'd be on your ass like flies on shit. Because my job's to make you money. Think about that, guys. He said 87 cards, which is more than most any of you guys have done. But when you really want it, if you have 289 on a database, you send 289 cards. Does that make sense? You are running a business. That is how you scale a business. Because now 202 people did not hear from you in this way of a card of whatever it is, or even just a cool photo or whatever it is. And of 202, if I do my 10% math, that could be 20 deals. Even if we went on a 1% statistic, that is more loans for you in a month, statistically proven. So if you don't have 2 more loans in the month, next month, so that I'm 100%, I know this works, trust me. So I had a client that was not doing this, hired me for one-on-one. Flow on this, dude. I'm not even kidding you guys how this formula works. Didn't have shit closing for the first 90 days. Now he's closing 7 to 10 loans every month. And when it goes down, I go and I ask him that same question. He's like, oh, I'm like, I literally hang up on our coaching call and go make him do it. Now he's making 40 grand a month again. 50 grand a month again. Why? He was broke when he started with one-on-one. He put that shit all on credit cards to get the one-on-one. But now I made him money that he wouldn't have had. That makes sense for you guys? Like, I wouldn't let you off the hook. That's a great question though, on the handwritten cards. It's conversation pieces. Yeah, I go over all that in my coaching about how to create conversations. It's a whole training on that, like follow-up leads, but it's just, birthday cards, say hi. Like, like here's another great one that that one of my clients sent it, Troy, he sent a picture of happy birthday with my mom and stuff like that, and then just made it that way. Kept it simple. There's another one that Dee Dee did, which just was picture of the family when they went out for their dancing. And then on the back, like I've shown her a million times, she's got a QR code you can scan that takes you to her private Facebook group. She can get entered. So there's a lot of cool things you can do. But yeah, Michelle, did you have any questions?
Yes, hi. So I am licensed now in Florida in addition to Arizona.
Okay.
And it is a whole new animal because I've been able to build my business here in Arizona, no problem, because I am fully present and have been for years. So everybody pretty much knows me. And all my business is repeat and referral. I don't advertise, but now I'm going into uncharted territory, wanting to rebuild, or I can't even say rebuild because I haven't started building there, but build a business out there, but still maintain and kick ass here, because I have dropped in volume just this past year, and
Everybody
it's
has.
uncharted, yeah, it's uncharted territory
Do
for
you know
me.
why? Do you know why everybody has dropped? And here's what I would tell you. Until you get my coaching, you actually do the shit that I'm going to do. It's never going to work in both states. And I will tell you right now, because one of my one-on-ones is here, Diane, she's a freaking rock star. They have the weirdest rules in Florida ever.
Yes,
You don't know the
they
community.
do.
I
And
just sent you a
certain
direct
things-
message, Michelle, with my number.
And if you don't, yeah, call Diane because she's a rock star. But I mean, there's some shit we've gone over and I'm like, whoa. I mean, that can cost you your license if you don't know certain things in certain areas.
Right.
So
It's,
I get it's great for that. And some people say they want to go to Florida. A lot of people like to go to Florida to retire. You know, I think that's probably your game plan, right? Without reading between the lines.
well, yes and no.
Or
I
you've had some
went-
clients move from here to there and you missed out on the real estate opportunity. It's one of the two.
It is definitely that, but it's also because I want to be able to live in multiple states and be able to do business from wherever I'm at. And
Check
my
this
husband
out.
and I want to add Tennessee.
Right.
So I'm like, well, if I can figure out how to build
Let me
a,
just pause you right there
Yes.
before you just give me the example, because they don't have time for this, right? Listen to what she said. Listen to what she said. This is where I don't think she's listening to herself. And I tell it to a lot of my clients. Justin's heard that. Listen to how you talk to yourself. Remember, Justin, when you first started, compared to your confidence now? The end goal is to not be in Florida. The end goal is to not be in Tennessee. The end goal is to not be in Arizona. The end goal is to be everywhere at once and be able to work from there. That's
Yeah.
what you're missing in your business that you're not telling yourself, right? Because you're giving me the Reader Digest and an example. Oh, I need to be here and I want to be here. Yeah, I get that. Like everybody would, right? But you can't scale in another state when you don't have it built here. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
this is what my mentors tell me that do very well. But the problem is when I first explain it, I explain it kind of like you. I have clients all over the country that I've never been to, I've never talked to, I've never flown out. Diane and I met one time at an event that I was flown out to Vegas and signed up right away for one-on-one. Okay, so immediately did that to pay the higher price ticket. So, but that's because she is building her stuff because she likes going on vacation and she goes out and just, you know, she doesn't have to work. She chooses to work. She loves doing this stuff. She's a very big people person, right? But she's wanting to scale and do more business and build that stuff out. But that's where people make the mistake. And I can tell you, Michelle, that's where I made a mistake, guys. This is probably one of the best questions I've had in a while because she had a great question, had a great example, but she didn't listen to the true meaning of what she was trying to do. You can't go to Florida if you don't have it built out here. Because like I said, you can't pivot your business if you don't know your numbers. And none of these you have built out. So going to Florida is great, but now you're going to get that much further behind here because you don't even have here done. And to say, which is great that you say, hey, my numbers have gone well, but see, you validated it going, oh, I'm in referral or I'm on this, I'm on this. Dude, if you've been in the business 20 years here, 15 years here, and you're not closing 50 deals a year, your follow-up system and everything else sucks. I'm just telling you guys that straight to the fact. And you can't tell me it's not about the money. Okay, and this is the other thing that I've been told with that kind of question, which is a great question. It's the same thing I told my mentor, guys. This was the game changer for me. That question right there, and that exactly how I portrayed it. So I know exactly how to, because I know who I said it to. Because I get this rebuttals where people are like, money isn't everything. Okay, money's fucking everything. And when you learn how to scale it and you learn how to build a system, it gives you one thing in common: freedom. So there's money, there's freedom, and there's time. And my mentor, when we've gone around some big people, like I've looked at people's bank accounts that have 150, 200 million in their personal bank account. Okay. They said they wish they would have done it somewhat my way because they always have to work. They always have to be on. They can't ever turn it off. And my mentor said, dude, and he was like, ask him this, ask him this, ask him this. And I was telling them, they were like, holy, like, how'd you figure that out? I'm like, I focused more primarily on my goals of what I was trying to accomplish. And then the money flowed. And then I learned that if I built systems and video content and made my people win by showing them my losses, okay, Because no one wants to constantly hear about your wins, right? Like all real estate agents, when they post about their numbers and shit, oh, you won. Why don't you tell me where you fucked up this month and then we can fix something? Because if I get on a coaching call, all you're is like, oh yeah, I did this and 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 this. Well, then what do you need me to get on a call for? Why don't you tell me where you messed up on and I'll fix it? Dan and I had a great call a couple of weeks ago about a listing, and I created a whole course on it. Tuesday, the next day by 2:15 in the afternoon, I had a whole course written, a whole texting, and a video that went over it because she gave me that information. I didn't wait. Does that make sense to you guys? That is a really great question that all of you should really ask yourself is going, I'd like to be on the beach. I'd like to spend more time. I'd like to be done by 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't know. Find out why you're trying to do it. Your sole purpose is to be everywhere at once. Don't have to be there, to be able to travel and have multiple homes in different states, but still run your business. But what your numbers are telling you, pay attention to this, guys. What your numbers are telling you this year so far that I have preached in my business that no other coach does. They all say automate that shit, buy CRMs, do all this stuff, buy leads, cold call, door knocking, right? All those other coaches say that shit. That's telling me 100% you're not in your business. And you are not running a business. Because if it was running the way you wanted to, because for me, when I pivoted, I knew I got burnt out. Here's a great example. I got burnt out having to be everywhere, all over the country, nonstop flying everywhere, which 13 days of the month I was gone, and I was home and I was doing a little bit of events. So I was really on all the time, never really enjoying life. So I pivoted and I do more one-on-ones, and I still have a lot of subscriptions, but every one of my one-on-ones is worth 12 to 13 of subscription one. Right? So the price difference of what it is. But like, if you're really trying to scale, if you want my honest opinion, you need me at one-on-one. If you really want to tell me this, I'm just telling you, and you really want to scale and actually make money and be able to do that shit, you need me. Why? Because I've done it. No one else you know has done it. They may say they've done it, but they don't have the freedom of it, because you don't want to have to pay overhead of employees. Guys, it's important. You want to pay overhead of employees, and then you're accountable for them. So then really the time freedom you got, you're not. Now you're managing other people along with other people. Does that make sense? And see, that's what these other people do when they go in these other states. Oh, I've got this team that does it. I don't have a team. My clients are my team. They hold me accountable because I'm not going to wake up and let them down. People say, why? I've never taken a day off and work since I've owned my company, because there's critical tasks I have to do every day. You know why? I like to eat. And my kids like to eat, and I'm leading by example. Does that make sense to you guys of where that aspect is of how it runs? And thank you for that, Diane. But guys, you can't scale if you're not willing to invest. If you get in my coaching on subscription, you want to go on your own pace, that question she asked me, I will literally show you how to do it. I walk you through on how to build out your business. That's 100% what this guide is for that and all the other stuff. You can't, you mess it up by your ego. That was where my biggest downfall was, is that I got it figured out and I don't. That makes sense to you guys on how you did it and where your business is and how you guys can roll with everything and really get your traction going? That makes sense? Because that was a great question. Does anybody else have any other questions? And yes, every question is a good question, even though hers was really good, because that summarized a lot of stuff that I just went over. But yeah, I mean, it's a hard pill to swallow. It's a hard thing to do, but I mean, that was just like Justin said, and just content and wherever you're doing. We all struggle with things. How many of you guys struggle with content on social media? You guys want to show me a trick that I do every day? How many of you guys struggle with like some stories you want to put up or some content? So every day I go to my memories on Facebook after I've done my birthday wishes. And if I need some content or some stories or past posts or whatever it is, guys, if you're in my coaching, go to the file tab, or excuse me, the photo tab, whatever. There's tons of photos and memes and stuff that you guys can post and use. Content's not hard. It's just we're not tracking our content, or we don't set reminders. Like hey, like Jim was up on a trip the other time, and I'm like, where were the photos? Where are the photos? Like, why didn't everybody get a postcard? Why didn't they do this stuff? Why? He's like, oh, I forgot. We don't struggle with content. We struggle with reminding ourselves that we need to take a photo. We struggle with reminding ourselves we need to have pictures when we're at dinner or at an event or just a funny meme or life experiences. That's what you're selling, right? Like yesterday, Savannah picked out my golf which she picks out the same shirt every time. My leopard golf shirt, right? That's her jam, right? Miss Anna, when you want to, Daddy, do the leopard one. Do that one. And I've never played good golf in that shirt. I don't know if it's distracting for me or whatever it is, but it's just there. But guys, content's not hard. We make it hard. And you got to track it. Like if people aren't liking certain things on your content you put on your wall, they're telling you they don't want to hear the market stats, or they don't want to see in the stories what's happening this weekend because they already know what's happening this weekend. Does that make sense to you guys? But content comes a lot easier when you start doing this stuff of tracking and running your business. Like the handwritten cards that Justin didn't do that he has 202 more to do on. Because if he's getting a response, then he can screenshot it, put it in there. People could be tagging him. And that's another great reason is I'm sure people are taking photos. They might tag me in stories that I was on that. That's content getting out there into the world, right? Does that make sense to everybody on that aspect? But yeah, you guys, those were some really, really good questions to end with and go on that aspect. But I mean, just be yourself. Content's easy. Just be yourself. My content sucked when I thought I needed to wear a suit all the time. I don't need to. I mean, we're all the same. And then, you know, get your swag and learn to rent free and how many opportunities, just like this box and stuff like that, and go from there. Any other questions though before we hop off? Anything?
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, so I've been writing down some taglines, kind of why we've been on here.
Okay.
Would it be okay if I send them to you and run them by you?
You have to do a consultation and pay for it. I don't do free coaching calls or free assessments because all my other people do that.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
cool beans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I respect the people who
Perfect.
pay me a lot of money to get on a call. So I mean, if you DM me and ask for stuff, it's I don't run my business that way. I mean, I ran. Let me just say that's a great question. I ran my business that way, and it cost me $300,000 a year.
Okay. No, yeah, I get
By
it.
stopping and doing that. No, I'm not even kidding you. Like understanding my calendar and stuff like that. I go into detail on a lot of stuff where I was losing. Me not doing one-on-one and answering calls like that to subscriptions when it's not part of the subscription literally cost me $300,000 a year. Isn't that crazy? But I never saw it until my mentor pointed it out to me. Just like I'm pointing things out to you guys today. Easily, if you do the things that I'm going to do, you will make an extra $250,000 a year. You can't not if you track your shit and do your things every single day. And Justin was a great example. 289 people on the target list, hit 87 of them. Does that make sense? So what he told me is that you're getting a 30% of what your business could be, is what you're telling me. So if you take your numbers and that's how you ran it over the last 5 months, that's why your business is 30% at where it is capable of being. And it also could be that you're taking advice from some of the wrong people as well, not so focused on the simple tasks at hand, right? Or you're getting distracted, or you have too many things. Guys, I know this because that's what I did. That's where I've made the mistakes, and that's why I know how to scale. And that's why life's easy. We just make it hard. Does that make sense to you guys? Like I said, if you sign up, you're not my coaching. I've got a thing I'm going to do for you guys. You got to sign up by noon. That's $124.99 a month, but that's a great thing. Brooke, the other workaround is that post them into the group and ask people for advice. We're a great community.
Oh, yeah, great idea. Thank you.
Yeah, you can post them in there and be like, hey guys, I have some taglines I wanted to share with you guys. Let me know what you think. I mean, that's, you know, our community in there, everybody's willing to help one another. So that's another workaround. Cool.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Guys, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for dealing with me on the hiccup with Eventbrite. I had it fixed. I don't know what went wrong, but we pivoted and we made it work. But thank you guys again. If you're in my coaching, we watch this again. Make sure you download the business guide deals, the SOI pipeline, and a couple of the other forms that you guys just put them out on your desk and just kind of flow through. I do this because I like, even as I'm going through this, I'm checking boxes and I'm making notes and stuff. So, but great, powerful question at the end, Michelle. That was really good because I think everybody's wanting to be there, if you want my opinion, and everybody's going to kind of have a version of what you just kind of asked me. So hopefully I explained that somewhat okay to where you're putting the cart before the horse going to another state versus building what you need here to make this flow. Once this flows, then you can go to the next thing, right? Because it's kind of like, you know, anything else that you have. Like if you have one car and you don't maintain it, it's, you know, shit goes downhill. So make sense, everybody? Awesome. Thank you guys for spending time with me. You guys are rock stars. Have a great weekend, and I will talk to you guys later.